Got two of those 3 blades so far with just the one battery. This is that 18-volt system from Makita, and I use this to take the lime deposits off the prop on the Checkmate. Did a couple of battery dumps and it just didn't even phase it a bit. I figure that's a test of both the brushless design, which didn't get as hot as some of the brush type designs. This one here has got brushes, so you see the sparks on the inside, and it gets warmer quite a bit quicker. So you have the brushless Makita with an 18-volt 2-amp-hour battery, and you've got the 20-volt Harbor Freight with the 1.5 amp-hour battery. I can tell you this one ran for as long as I wanted it to before I emptied out that battery. I think I showed a little video where I was taking the lime deposits off a prop. Didn't phase it a bit. These are very, very, very nice tools, the Makita brand. My only complaint on the Makita is I can't find them in some of the outlying towns that I go. I was looking for more batteries. I pretty much have to do it online or maybe Home Depot or some place like that. But Lowe's doesn't carry them. You know, Lowe's are everywhere and they don't carry the Makita brand. At least the ones here don't. But I prefer this tool over pretty much all the other battery operated systems that I've experienced at this point in time, you know, in terms of how they operate. Just a very nice machine. Of course, the impact driver, I use it quite a bit. It's the main impact driver for my shop. Now, I bought these because they were first relatively cheap. Now this got brushes. It's a brush style motor, not a brushless. And, you know, it's not quite as expensive either. The reason why it turned into a important series of tools for me is because the Harbor Freights are everywhere that I'm doing work. So when I wanted to get an extra battery or an accessory, I could run right down to the Harbor Freight and get them. And that's an advantage. And so while it's heavier and not quite as cool to run, not quite as ergonomic, generates more heat and all that stuff, you know, for 50 bucks I can run down and get another one, maybe $70. And these are pretty pricey, but I tell you what, especially the impact driver on this series, I think they're worth every penny. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to test that Bauer. I'm going to knock off some of the rust and burn up a couple of batteries. And I got 3 batteries for it, and I'm just going to keep running it, see how hot it gets, and if it fails, well, it fails. If it doesn't, it's kind of proven its reliability now, hasn't it? So, I'm not going to bore you with me sitting there grinding on the trailer for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I've already started. I've already gone through about 1/3 of a battery. You got the 3 lights, and so far what you see has gotten me down to 2, right? That's just doing this much right here. And it gets warm. So, I'm going to put this guy away because it's done its job. We're down to 1. So I've done this. So I've worked this section here, I don't know, probably, I didn't put a clock on it, but I'm going to guess 10-15 minutes to take out the 1 battery. So I'm going to put it on a charger and go right to the next battery and continue. Now the question I have is, with 2 batteries, will it charge fast enough on that rapid charger for me to finish with the 2nd battery and go right back to the 1st? Or do I need a 3rd or 4th battery in order to do that kind of work? So that's question number 1. And question number 2 is, that lower cost drill option going to stand that kind of extended use? that Makita on the one battery pretty much did this whole prop. And that stuff was not coming off easy. It was, I don't know, at least a half an hour of me grinding away before I got that stuff off of there. Made a huge difference though, didn't it? This one's quite a bit lighter, and it does run for, I think, a longer period of time per battery charge. But this is not dead yet, right? Of course, it's quite a bit less expensive as well. Alright, that's it. It stopped. So let's go put this battery on the charger and see what we have on the other one. Well, I have to go on to a third battery because the first one that we dumped isn't quite yet done. I don't know if you noticed, but with this bigger battery, this thing's a little bit more snappy. And also understand that I'm not expecting this to be as good a quality cleaning as sandblasting or one of the other techniques. I'm just knocking off the scale so we can put some paint on it to make it look a little bit better for this year. At some point in time, we're going to take this and sandblast it, paint it from the bottom up. But before I do that, I want to get rid of this axle, put on an axle that has trailer brakes. So, and it's with a perfect opportunity to run the crap out of this thing and see if it stands the abuse. And not just the drill itself, but also the batteries and the charging system. You know, exercising them by doing a full dump and recharge will give us a sort of an indication if they can stand up as well. Still 2 bars on this one. It really hasn't got all that hot either. And my point is that just doing this trailer with a wheel like that, you know, that's kind of a hard way of doing things. But it'll be running more than most people ever use this tool. So you think about that sustained use. And these are designed for the casual guy, not the pro. You know? Well, these darn things ride in the car with me now. This one spent a day doing drywall upstate. Probably 2 of the main battery, the big battery dumps. This one shed some light on that project. I went through a couple of battery dumps on this one as well, on that project. This light works really good, by the way, and so does this impact driver. It's a bit of a beast. You know, as compared to my Makitas, it's quite a bit heavier, bigger. Of course, you've been seeing that. It's taken off a bunch of tires and put them back on for me. And haven't put as much time on the grinder, but the time I have spent has performed quite well. Usually what I've used this for to this point in time is if I put a screw through the wood punches out the other side, I'll grind off the sharp part of it so, you know, people don't get gouged up. But my truck, these things are living in my truck because I'm going multiple places and doing multiple jobs. And my first thought was I didn't want to put my Makitas in here because if they got ripped off, I'd be really, really sad. Fact of the matter is, all the stuff combined cost about the same as my Makita. But the other thing is, the Makita is a nicer tool to work with, so I prefer to use that in my shop. And the mobile shop gets these, but even though they might be a little clunky and heavy and all that, and I'm sure online there's people who bash these things, boy, they've saved me a lot of time. This one in particular, what a beast. It's got some serious power. I really like this thing. And of course, this one right here, it's been riding around the truck and has taken off a lot of tires, tractor and truck, and on the farm. Showed that on video. And this light, you know, I've been running it non-stop now for weeks. Boat project, drywall project upstate, all kinds of stuff. So for a casual do it on the side kind of job dude like me, these things are working out quite well. Now I have to tell you, I prefer my Makitas to work with. So when I'm chilling in the shop and working on saws, my Makitas still get the call. But for the bulk of what I've been doing a lot more outside the shop. These things have been working just fine. Having the multiple battery chargers really makes a difference. I've got 2 of these batteries and one of the larger batteries, and I've been just swapping them through. And the job that I've been doing this last day or so, I've been cycling through probably 10-15 times, meaning that I've done 10 or 15 complete battery dumps in order to scale off the paint and the rust of this old trailer. I'll show you that. Boy, look at this thing. Looks like another project about to happen. I want to see if we can shore up the support of the motor on the checkmate. Getting there, little by little. The subject is this right here, this drill, and it's done all the work on it. And like I said in there, I've probably got about 10 complete battery dumps on this, both with the smaller ones and the big one. So it's been running non-stop, and as far as I can tell, there's no change in performance whatsoever. So this has absolutely survived this job, and that's a good testament, right? I've had Harbor Freight stuff in the past that wouldn't last 20 minutes. And this one's got a couple hours on it now, of just one battery dump after another, you know? It does get a little hot up here, so you got to keep your hands away from there. Not so much because it's going to burn your hands, but you want to make sure that motor keeps cool, right? And for features, forward, reverse, like any other drill would have. 2 speeds, a little slower, a little faster, and then your clutch right there. Now I thought that was making a little bit of noise earlier in the cycle, but it seems like it's not making any more noise than normal right now. So I would say that from my perspective, there's no sign whatsoever of any degradation on this tool after this job. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a testament to them. So I like it.